It's day 7 of Lent, and I can't say I've been really doing a good job throughout this course of Lent, although there are great principles that I've sort of learned and I can apply in both mental health and spirituality that can help. And the topic is do not worry. Yes, there's going to be a healthy sense of stress, anxiety that's sort of normal and inherent in daily life. In particular, there's a healthy form of anxiety called anticipatory anxiety. And that's sort of the stress or anxiety that helps people to sort of get motivated, plan ahead, think, etc. But we do find that in mental health, when people reflect a lot about something that's negative or something that's sad or causes anxiety, the more they reflect on it, the more those symptoms tend to increase. And so in that part, you really do not want to worry about stuff from the past, especially if someone's made mistakes or regrets or have a lot of guilt from something they did in the past. They have to try to let go of that and just move on and move forward. And I'll talk a little bit at the end of this video about a Christian principle of how to move on from mistakes from the past. And those of you who are well known in the Christian faith, I'll probably already know. And in regards to worrying about the future, there's a lot of things that people may anticipate about, like getting health insurance, about saving enough money for their family, about just having all this extra assurance that if something happens. But the principle here, at least according to the Lent, is that trust that God is a heavenly Father and He's going to help provide for what one needs. Now, this doesn't mean to not work or not prepare. As St. Augustine says, work as if everything depends on you and pray as if everything depends on God. But this does mean to not worry so much about some of the material things that we have in life, whether it's what we eat or drink, but really just trust that God is going to provide those needs. And if you recall in the life of the disciples in the Gospels, we clearly see how Jesus tells them to let go of everything they have. They don't have to take money, they don't have to take clothes, they don't have to take food, but just go on the journey. Preach the name of Christ, preach the name of God, bring people to God, and that God will provide for their needs. Now, during this time of Lent, when you're not focused as much on food and things of like that stuff, and you focus more on Christ and your spiritual life, you're going to do more spiritual reading, or you have more time to read spiritually. And one of the books that I've come across was basically reiterating this point about do not worrying and try not to let anxiety plague you. Because anxiety can be not only a spiritual illness, but also a psychological and mental illness. The author, who's a priest, actually talks about the physical symptoms that anxiety causes. And we know from a mental health perspective, anxiety can cause a lot of physical symptoms, like trouble breathing. It can make people feel like their heart races fast. They could get knots in their stomach or butterflies. Maybe they get shaky or clammy. And I talk about this more in other details. In fact, I have a whole playlist just about anxiety, and I have a playlist about medications we use for anxiety. But it also helps illustrate how powerful our mind can be, in that if we focus on something anxiety or negative, we're going to tend to feel anxious or feel negative. And so we really have to redirect or challenge those thoughts. And if it's difficult for us to redirect or change them on our own, then that's when medications can help, because medications can calm down the mind so that one has more power or ability to redirect those thinkings. Now, part of what I'm talking about is from this book, Great Lent and Me, by Egyptian priest Father Bishoy Camel, who states, this was in a sermon that was sort of translated in English, he states, scientists are forever busy and active in attempts to find a cure for moodiness, depression, pain, etc. They continue endlessly to invent sedatives to give some relief. Jesus gave us a prescription in one sentence: do not worry about tomorrow. Now, this may be true for a lot of people, but not for all people. Anxiety can run in families. So if a family member has anxiety, then it's more likely that other family members can have anxiety. Also, we have to be careful we're not doing anything in their life that causes anxiety, whether it's smoking, drinking alcohol, maybe eating unhealthy, or not getting enough physical activity, maybe just letting the stress or bills or stuff pile up. That stuff in our life can cause anxiety and tension. Maybe it's having negative people in our life that sort of we allow those negative feelings to get projected onto us. So all those things and more can lead to anxiety in some people. But really what this author is trying to suggest, or what the priest is trying to suggest, is do not worry. Do not worry about the past, because about the past, he says that that's taken care of by Christ. Christ offered his life. He was crucified on the cross for forgiving people and the human race, basically. So if you have any mistakes from the past, have any guilt, just give it to God and God will take care of it. And don't worry about the future, because God is going to provide for the future, just like he did to the disciples, just like he's helped taking care of you since you were an infant up to this day in life. But that doesn't mean to not plan ahead, or to not think, or to not focus. Yeah, you want to plan ahead, you want to think, but you don't want to worry about stuff to the extent where it sort of paralyzes you or negatively impacts your quality of life. Now, Lent, again, is a very special moment in the Christian faith. It's supposed to help us to get more in touch with God and focus more our life on Christ. When we do not worry so much about food and clothing and this activities in life, we can focus more on Christ. And the author nicely states that God knows we have a physical body, we have these physical needs, and God is going to provide for us. He's not going to leave us hanging. He's not going to leave us empty-handed in that regards into what our essential needs are. Hopefully you like this video. Be sure to like the video for more videos like this one, and comment on the video to help facilitate some sort of discussion about this. Thank you.